Hi Taurus, thanks for joining me. This is your astrology forecast for January 2016. I hope you're excited about the new year. I have a much better feeling about 2016 than 2015. I think it's going to be fantastic. Let's confirm that feeling here with what's actually going on by the astrology and what's coming up for you this month. So the first thing that happens here is that there's a connection between two planets, Pluto and the Sun, on the 1st of January, which sits in your 9th house in Capricorn. Okay, so this is going to make you focus very much on your skills, your education, your place in the world, and what's going to happen in future. Is your identity your job? Is your identity where you live? Are you happy with that identity? What is it that defines you? And I think you're going to start this year with a sense of kind of philosophy and really questioning what you're working towards and how you're working at it and where. That gets stronger on the 6th of January. The two planets converge on each other in conjunct at 15 degrees on the 6th. And then they move away from each other again, and it ends on the 17th of January. So the majority of the month, until the 17th, so more than half, you're going to be thinking about what you can achieve and what skills you need and where you're at and all of these things. You're really going to be philosophical and almost like you've taken a step back from your own life, and you're going to look at it and say, how can I make this better? How can I adjust it? How can I make improvements? On the 2nd of January, Mercury goes into Aquarius, and that's in your 10th house. So what you'll feel is that the way you communicate becomes a little bit more open and free, and you allow imagination and innovation into your life. And especially in work, things really speed up, and I think you get some new ideas about how you can make things better. This isn't fundamental change. I don't see that you change your job. I think you have ways of perfecting things. The biggest question here is, what do I want to move forward with in my life? You know, much deeper than even the job situation. And what skills do I have that I can use to go in different areas? You know, if you've got a degree, maybe things open up for you in one way. If you've got a nursing qualification, it may be that your options are limited. You know, you can be a nurse or a midwife, and you're thinking of what other options would I like? That's what I'm trying to get at. So Mercury on the 2nd makes things much lighter, communication becomes easier, and you feel like you can interact with people on a lighter level. Things start to lighten up a little bit. On the 3rd, there's an area of friction here between the way you feel about yourself, your rising sign in Aries, and Mars and the Moon on the other side of the chart. So for you, Taurus, you're going to feel quite headstrong, and you're going to feel like the main priority in your life at the moment, what you're looking at, is to get in touch with your higher self and to ask that higher self, where are we going? You're going to feel distracted by the demands made on you by other people in your working life, and you're going to sense a feeling of wanting to comply. Okay, so if you're a hospital receptionist, people will be bombarding you, and you will want to do a good job, and you will want to meet their needs and help them out. But the thing is, that takes you away from yourself. The answer to this question is to communicate, to use your imagination, to think about things not while you're working so much, but to take time for yourself and to not blend the two. Okay, so when you're a receptionist, be a receptionist. When you think about what you want to do that when you get home. Really put clear boundaries so your head doesn't get all jumbled and that you become bad at both of the things. It's a time of extreme mental activity. Try and put boundaries into place so that you can actually focus on one thing at a time. So you're going to feel a little bit, whoa, everything's going on here. Mars goes into Scorpio on the 4th, and that's right on top of your descendant, and that's in your 7th house with the Moon there. Okay. If you're male, you're really going, and you're single, you're really going to feel an intense desire to be with someone. Okay. You're really going to you have an intense desire to be with another human being. If you're female, I think you will get strong attention from the men in your life. There will be a highly sexualized charge kind of energy here for you, Taurus. And you'll notice that things are coming together. People may have a new resolution for the new year. I'm going to find a partner this year, and some of those people may make an appearance in your life. But Mars is the soldier, okay? It's the archetypal male energy. When he goes into Scorpio, it's sex, it's intensity, it's what I want, and it's looking at the getting from the surface level to the deepest innermost place. So people will want to find out who you are. They may ask questions. They may really want to get to know you, but really get deeper into your mind, into your body, whatever. It's about connection, and there's a strong charge around that kind of energy on the 4th. So I guess it's a good time for romance, even though it feels a little bit much, I suppose. But if you're someone who really, wants those intense, crazy kind of I love you, tell me that you die for me, that kind of thing. If you're into that, this is the perfect kind of day for that over-the-top energy. On the 6th of January, Mercury unfortunately goes retrograde. Okay. Mercury is the planet of communication. When it goes retrograde, we have to find different ways of communicating. That happens in your 10th house of work. So you may be, well, for you actually, Taurus, because what you're thinking about, what your focus is, what are my skills? How am I going to use these? That Mercury goes into your 10th house of work, which means that work is going to be more of a struggle, I suppose, and that's going to make you focus even more on how can I make changes. This IT job, oh God, the numbers are doing my head in, everything seems to be just jumbling up. What else can I do? What are my skills? And there is a focus here on education and educating yourself to make a change in your working life. So you may feel that very strongly. It stays retrograde until the 25th of January, so pretty much the whole month, and then things go back to normal pretty much. Also on the 6th of January here, Neptune starts to sextile your rising sign, and your rising sign is in your sign of Taurus here, in the 1st house, and Neptune is the dream, it's the veil, okay? So you've been really doing all of these you've been questioning who you are, what you're able to do in a practical sense, and Neptune now drops in a nice little dream here. The Sandman visits you at night and puts a little dream and a dream career on your pillow, and when you wake up you'll see, oh okay, that's an option I didn't consider, and that'll resonate with yourself. So there's a little gift here on the 6th of January for you, which will bless the rest of 2016, because it's the germination, it's the new beginning of a seed that's just grown and that just appears in your life. If that sounds like magical thinking, I know that it sounds that way, but in my experience, that's how often life works. Life is magical, even though it feels crap sometimes. And sometimes things just appear out of nowhere. And it's those moments that make life worth living, because it's like, oh my goodness, I didn't even plan for this, and here it is. On the 8th of January, Jupiter and the North Node are together in your 5th house of romance, wonderful, and they start to square the moon. Okay, so good luck for you in terms of romance. So far, Taurus, this is going to be, in terms of themes, if we've got business and career and work, you've been thinking about making changes to your work, but the biggest luck factor that you've got in January, the whole month, is in your romantic life. When you take practical action, you can really achieve things. Mars is making you super kind of driven to go out there and find someone. But the moon is also what you feel very nurtured by and very comforted by. And that's in your 8th house of other people, and also sex with other people. So there's going to be a massive amount of energy, kind of romantic energy, crackling through the atmosphere. You'll feel the tension and the intensity with other people. So get out there, meet lots of people in January. You will feel very strongly connected with others in a practical way. Especially on the 8th, because the moon is, the moon moves quickly around this chart, and it just sits there, and it moves on the next day. But the 8th, it's in your 8th house of real intensity. On the 9th, Mercury goes into Capricorn then, in the next house. And again, you've got 5 things in your 9th house of education and travel and expansion now. You've got Mercury, the Sun, your midheaven, Pluto, and the Moon. And that's a really practical mix here. And they're all saying, What's your identity at work? Stop doing things the way you've done them before. Look at your job. What new life is coming in? What do you feel comfortable with? What do you really, really, really want to do? I mean, on one hand, you really, really just want to go to bed with someone, but on the other hand, you really, really, really just want to make your job better. And find that. The strongest element on this day, the 9th of January, is Earth. Take practical action. What is it you want? Careers need planning, as someone told me once. Okay, also on the 9th, Pluto and the Sun on the 9th, they straddle this midheaven, okay? So one leg is on one side of the midheaven, the other leg is on the other side of the midheaven. The center thing that crosses them is, what do you want to achieve in your work? It's really a strong question on the 9th. Please answer it. The new moon happens the next day, on the 10th of January, and think of this as a vacuum cleaner pulling energy in, sucking it in. And it's sucking in Capricorn energy. It's giving you lots of practical ability to do stuff, to educate yourself. And I really think that you're going to either want to move, you're going to get the idea of, I would be much more successful if I lived in Hong Kong or in the States. And also it's going to say, if I had these skills, then I could really make something with my life. And, you know, that's kind of thinking, that's the grass is greener type of thinking. If only I had this, then life would be much better. But this is attainable, the grass is greener thinking. If you work and if you implement these ideas that you're getting around the beginning of the month, then you can make these things happen and actually do them. Now that's the strongest energy I see until the 13th of January, and on the 13th of January a grand trine occurs in your chart until the 21st of January. A grand trine is an area of real talent and a strong kind of focus. This is in Earth, it's between your rising sign, all that mess up there in the 9th house, Mercury, the Sun, Pluto, midheaven, and Jupiter in the North Node in your 5th. Okay. And what this means is that you feel energized by your personal romantic connections, and the energy that you create with that and the uncertainty that you have in about your education, about who you really are, it creates this kind of vortex and everything's being stirred around in the cauldron. And what's going to happen? Is it going to turn one way or is it going to turn another? What are you going to get ultimately? And during this grand trine, you're mixing the cauldron. On the 21st, you pour out whatever you've put into it and you see what you actually get. Okay, so you'll make a decision around this, but it's really like a vortex of energy forming in your chart. On the 15th, there's a T-square that's happening amidst all of this. So again, okay, we've got a T-square going on, we've got all this other energy. It's a really intense month for you, and things are really just pulling you one way and another, and you'll have a lot of feelings. On this day, the thing that will be highlighted is a real heartbreak that you had in the past, and that will become highlighted in one of these relationships that you're pursuing. So if you were, if you were a 15-year-old boy with acne and a weird voice that was breaking, and you fell in love with this beautiful girl at school, and she was just amazing, and you went up to her and asked her out to the prom or whatever, and she said, as if, I'm not going to go out with you, and you were totally devastated and destroyed by that, then something that happens on the 15th reminds you of that pain, of that horrible experience. I'm laughing because we've all been there. It becomes highlighted, you remember it, but with this 8th house here, the Venus and Saturn in your 8th house, you can make up for it by having a great experience on this day. Okay, so if you were rejected, if you kind of take the risk again, for instance, it's very likely that you won't be rejected and that you'll amend that past disappointment and you'll make up for it and improve your life and be happy about it. You may be with someone and they say something that triggers off a past pain, Like if your old partner told you you were so boring and you were just such a drag, and that's why you broke up. Maybe you're with someone and the guy says, God, that was a boring story, and you're just like, oh, how can you say that to me? That kind of thing, okay? But you can make up for it, you can laugh about it, and you can move beyond it. Okay, on the 17th of January, Mars opposes the moon. The moon is now in Taurus, in your sign. You feel very much at ease. You feel very comfortable in your own skin. You feel very good in your body. Mars is in the 7th, and it's like, I deserve to be with someone. I need to share my body, my soul, my feelings, my heart. Mars is the soldier, it's the warrior, and Mars in Scorpio is super, super intense. And it wants to just crawl inside of another person and understand them, and it wants to have sex, not just for the physical experience, but for the melding of souls. Good luck with that. It doesn't usually happen, but sometimes it happens. And there's a real need for you to connect with another human being, and physically you feel well. So kind of set things up for yourself like this. Again, the strongest element is earth. Your element is earth. You're going to feel very much aligned with yourself. You're going to feel comfortable in your own skin, and you're in the moment. You know, you're living your life today. On the 17th of January, you take the day and you live it. You squeeze the life out of this day. Because sometimes we're so busy and distracted with other things, we don't even notice that we're living in this one day, and that it'll never come again. You're in touch with the present moment. Now, on the next day, the 18th, there's a kite that happens. First of all, it's this practical energy about your work and your skills, and it meshes in, this cauldron now is still being stirred, and it meshes in with the past disappointment in your relationship, and everything kind of culminates together, and you have a moment of breakthrough, a moment of clarity. Yes, I understand why this happened. You know, if I couldn't make my career work for 5 years, and I look back in hindsight, I see why that had to happen. On the 18th, expect a moment of ding, clarity, I got it. On the 20th, the Moon and Saturn oppose each other, and they form a T-square with Chiron here. And I think you might get some bad news. You might get a bill coming in. You might get a bill from Christmas that you have to pay. But the good news is that you have the practical means to actually pay it. Okay, so something might hit on this day financially, which might make you feel a bit, but you'll be able to deal with it and handle it very well. The Sun goes into Aquarius on the 21st, so happy birthday Aquarius. It's your time now for the next month, and that's in your 10th house. So again, work-wise, you feel much more connected, things start to be much easier, they start to flow more, your ideas flow more quickly, and you feel very connected. A new grand trine appears on the 22nd, and that's now in water. Communicate your feelings, express how you really, really feel, and it also express your pain, if you have pain, because it'll make your dreams come true. It's not just that you're super, sexually charged, you're also looking for a genuine soul connection with another person. And by being honest and by being genuine, and not by being insincere, which is really annoying when people are insincere, and people pick up on insincerity like that. If you get genuine on this day and really wear your heart on your sleeve, it's not going to go wrong. You will be you. You can connect with who you really are, and you can share that with another person. And if they like it, then they're someone for you. And if they don't like it, there's the door. Because if someone doesn't like the real you, warts and all, at the truth of who you are, then that person is not your friend. That person needs to go. So for you, romance-wise, this is really the crux. Are the two of us compatible or not? Is this relationship going to go somewhere, or is it just superficial or nothing? You find out on the 22nd. On the 24th, Venus goes into Capricorn in your 9th. And again, the focus shifts onto what you can do with your own life path, with your work, how you can move forward. And remember, Mercury is still in retrograde here. You're still having to discover different ways of doing things. And what I started this reading with was this main focus on your skill sets, on your travel, on your circumstance in your life. And Venus, the planet of love and beauty, comes in now and adds its harmonious and positive energy to this whole questioning process. And how can you redevelop yourself? How can you reinvent yourself to be a more loving person? And how can you reinvent yourself so that you love your life more? The full moon also occurs on this day in Leo on the 24th. The full moon is a blossoming, things coming to fruition, and the full moon is in your 4th house of family. This is a really good day to have This is the best day family-wise in January. This is the day to spend with family, to spend with loved ones. That romantic person that you've been building up with all month, absolutely, also a very good time to spend it with them. But it's a little bit more. It's more about people you've known for a long time. It's about established connections. On the 26th, Neptune and the Moon start to form a T-square, which culminates in your second house. So today is a good day in terms of finances. So earlier in the month you had some bad news. On the 26th you have some good news. So wait for something positive to come through. On the 27th, the Moon conjuncts Jupiter in your 5th house. Again, this is another ideal day for you in terms of romance and getting what it is you want. If you have pined after this person for ages and you've waited to ask them out on the 27th. When you take practical action, it's very likely you can achieve your soul's desire on the 27th. On the 29th, there's another grand trine. This one now is in air. This is the best day for you work-wise. This is when your answers come in. All this questioning, you know, the cauldron that came out and you got some answer on that on the 21st. You're now molding this and shifting it, and you really understand what's going on in your future, what you're going to do, what your future focus and your area of work is going to go into. How can you make yourself better? Not that there's anything wrong with you, but how can you make your life better and match more the inside? Finally, at the end of the month, the Moon conjuncts Mars, and you end the month similarly with this massive intensity in terms of your sexual energy, in terms of your romantic desires, who you want to be with. Mars, the archetypal male, the Moon, representative of the soul and the mother and the female, coming together, really, you know, sparks flying, real intensity, real emotion. And it's a great day to connect and have a romantic time now. So the full moon, great day to spend with family. End of the month, great day to deepen a romantic connection with someone you don't know that well. So that's your month. If you want a private reading with me about your love life or career or what you should educate yourself in, or any kind of tip on how to move forward if you feel a little bit lost, and please get in touch with me via the website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on readings and you'll see the types of readings that I offer. And please remember to subscribe to the channel. Have a great month. I will speak to you next month, and you can also find me daily on the channel with the daily tarot readings. So I hope you have a great time, and I'll speak to you soon.